Hey, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from StreetScores. As you can see, I am not home, but we are still getting to these videos. I don't like how greasy I look in this camera right now. I can't wait to get back home to my equipment. But either way, man, we're here with a Rico report. And of course, y'all know, if you haven't watched Rico reports before, just in case, this is where we run through a lot of different things. All things that concern the Commanders, at least to some level of extent. Some things that directly affect us, some things that may affect us. We're going to talk about a lot of different things today. First of all, Hard Knocks. We got to talk about a lot of the different rule changes. We have our off-season workout dates. Marshawn Lattimore's changing his number. We have a lot of things to discuss in this video, but before we get into everything, make sure you still follow that like button, still follow the subscription button, still follow the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinion video just like this one. Even though we're on vacation, still working. Let's get it. Let's get to this video right now, man. Adam. Alright, so first of all, the Commanders may actually have a chance to end up on Hard Knocks. Recently, they just changed their rules, so now according to their new rules, the Commanders are actually eligible to end up on Hard Knocks. They've loosened their rules in which teams can be forced into the training camp edition of Hard Knocks. The new rules for who can't be forced to participate are teams with a first-year head coach. That's not us this year. We're going into our second year. Teams featured in that season's in-season edition from the previous year covering a full division. That wasn't us. And then teams on Hard Knocks, you know, if you've been there, training camp within the last 8 seasons between 2017 through 2024, we have not done that either. What was the last one we did? Was the D'Angelo Hall, DeAndre Hopkins situation, maybe? If I'm not mistaken. So we are definitely no longer exempt. Now, because of the new rules, there are a lot more teams that are available now. There are 20 teams that can be chosen from with the new rules that they have. So you have the Cardinals, the Falcons, the Ravens, the Bills, the Panthers, the Bengals, the Broncos, the Packers, the Texans, the Chiefs, the Colts, the Dolphins, the Vikings, Giants, Eagles, Steelers, 49ers, Seahawks, Titans, and of course, last but not least, best of them all, Washington Commanders. And shouts out to Bill from Hogs Haven because he brings up some good points. First of all, he pointed out the fact that with the Commanders having been the most recent NFC playoffs, we'd all be assuming that, you know, that we would be exempt. But now with the new rule changes, with the new eligibility rules, now we are not. You know, typically if you made the playoffs, I believe you wouldn't be able to be in Hard Knocks the following season. Now that doesn't matter. He also said, I may be biased because of my personal devotion to the Washington franchise, but I think that most NFL fans would find a season of Hard Knocks that focuses on the burgundy and gold to actually be a compelling viewing. I would agree. I mean, first of all, as a Commanders fan, from my point of view, I feel like this organization, especially led by Dan Quinn, Adam Peters, professionals. Jaden Daniels is your franchise quarterback. He's as good as it gets when it comes to, I mean, first of all, we can talk about on the field. That's a whole other discussion. But off the field, in front of a camera, there's not a more presentable quarterback arguably in the entire NFL. He says all of the right things. And so I feel like if there were any franchise that could handle it very well, especially if there were any era of the burgundy and gold that could handle it very well and it wouldn't throw us off of our path, it wouldn't be too much of a distraction, it's this one. Led by Dan Quinn, all of these guys that have been there, done that, been to Super Bowls, won Super Bowls all up and down the roster. The coaches there. Remember, we have guys like Ken Norton Jr. as our linebackers coach and Anthony Lynn as our running backs coach, run game coordinator. Like, if there's any organization that can handle Hard Knocks and not allow it to distract us, it is us. So I would be down. I've always been intrigued by just seeing what's going on behind the scenes with my favorite team. That I've always been a fan of that, but it just always felt like other seasons wouldn't necessarily make sense because it will probably throw us. But if your team is that weak mentally and discipline wise to where Hard Knocks can cause you to have a bad season, you probably weren't meant to have a great season anyway. You more than likely weren't on the way to winning the Super Bowl anyway. So, and I feel like we can handle it, man. I feel like we're Super Bowl contenders. I feel like with all of the new personalities that we added to on the team, on top of the ones that we already had, but you add Debo Samuel and Laramie Tunsil to the group. I feel like that's a really fun group that everybody's going to want to watch and put, especially Jaden Daniels, especially. I think even again, outside of even just the burgundy and gold nation, like Bill was bringing up, I think everybody's going to be intrigued by, like, what happened? How did they go from 4 wins to NFC Championship? Like, we see Jaden Daniels we see his true personality in spurts every now and then, but typically we're only getting like the super media trained, super vanilla version of him. I'm pretty sure, on top of just Commanders fans, I'm pretty sure most fans of just football in general really want to see like what Jaden Daniels is when he's around his guys behind the scenes and he's not in front of the media answering questions as vanilla as possible. So I'm pretty sure that even beyond just the Commanders fan base, most other teams want to see us. And it's pretty interesting too, because I think there's some extent to like the NFL owners can vote on it. Like the NFL owners can be the ones that kind of pick you for Hard Knocks. Really interesting. We'll see. I that's just me. I think I remember seeing that somewhere. Don't quote me on that, but it's a really interesting situation. Either way, the main thing is the Commanders could end up on Hard Knocks this upcoming offseason. And if you're wondering if I'm down, I am. Then also, moving on, Washington's offseason workout dates have been updated, as you can see on the screen right now. The first day is April 22nd, and then on OTA, we have the offseason workouts, May 28th, May 30th, June 3rd and 4th, and June 6th. And then we have mandatory minicamp June 10th through 12th. Just a full breakdown real quick. Phase 1 for Washington begins April 22nd. During this time period, the team is allowed to hold activities limited to meetings, physical rehab, and strength and conditioning training only. Practices and physical contact are not allowed. Phase 2 is being held on, and mind you, that's before the draft. Phase 2 is being held on May 28th, May 30th, June 3rd, 4th, and 6th. During this time, the team is allowed to incorporate on-field group and individual drills with players. In these drills, teams are only allowed to do offense on offense and defense on defense drills without physical contact. These drills are treated as walkthroughs, and offensive players are permitted to practice against defensive players. And then Phase 3 kicks off June 10th through 12th. The ramps up with the team activities. Teams can conduct 10 total days of organized team activities, also known more commonly as OTAs. That's 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s, and all of that's allowed at this time, but still without physical contact to players. During this offseason phase, teams can only hold one mandatory veteran minicamp. And again, for us, ours is June 10th through 12th. Just to keep that in mind. Now, moving on. Man, shouts out to that boy Marshawn Lattimore. He's been wearing 23 since he got here, since he's been drafted. Now he's switching back to his college number of number 2, the same number that he wore at Ohio State. And now hopefully, of course, he goes back to his Ohio State talent level as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm hoping that number 2 stands for 2 good, healthy legs. Honestly, that's the most important part, because I believe that I really, really believe that the reason he had an off year last year was, first of all, not fully knowing the defense, but also just not being fully healthy. And, leg injuries, especially nagging ones, like a hamstring one that he was dealing with, can really limit a player, especially somebody like a cornerback. Like, you can work around a hand injury, but a hamstring issue is pretty much a death sentence like it was for him last year. And so now with a full offseason to get healthy and learn the defense, I'm expecting him to get closer to the Lattimore that we expected when we traded for him. I don't think the number is going to have anything to do with it, but it is interesting that he's going back to his number. He's been wearing 23 since he was drafted in 2017. This is going to be the first time he's worn the number 2 in the NFL, and he decided it's time to make that switch. Now, normally when players switch numbers, doesn't tend to work out, but I think for the reasons I've already stated, I think Marshawn Lattimore will be one of the very few cases where a number switch, it won't be because of the number switch that he's playing well, but I'm just predicting him to play very well. And a lot of people have told y'all, I didn't necessarily word it like this, but a lot of people have worded it like that trade last year was essentially a trade like for the 2025. Whatever we got out of him in 2024 was really a bonus. We were more so planning on this is what we're going to get out of him in 2025 and 2026. So now it's time for him to really step up. And speaking of number changes, man, the Detroit Lions are going crazy. It looks like they had 14 number changes. And when we're talking about like starters and real notable players like Jahmyr Gibbs, Jamison Williams, DJ Reed, Terrion Arnold, Ennis Rackstraw, they have a rocky ascent. A lot of 12 guys have changed their numbers. So meanwhile, we're talking about Marshawn Lattimore changing his number, and then the Detroit Lions not only changing coaches top to bottom, but also numbers as well. Now, of course, we have a bunch of NFL rule changes and updates. And I want to run through all of the major ones. Maybe I could do like a separate video breaking down like each and every rule change or update that happened, and then like break down every single one to like an extended period of time, giving y'all like super duper detail. But just to run through them real quick, first of all, the NFL owners passed a resolution allowing the league to flex Sunday games to Thursday night with 21 days notice. Just one game was flexed over the past 2 seasons via a temporary resolution that allowed it with 28 days notice. Today's vote keeps Thursday Night Football flex in the toolbox, so you never know. Also, big day for the Commanders. Teams can now wear alternate and throwback jerseys and uniforms up to 4 times per year. So now expect to see the black uniforms more often. And we're also supposed to be getting like a 4th uniform, apparently. We'll see what happens with that and how many times we'll wear it. And then also the NFL owners passed a rule change that will allow both teams to possess the ball in overtime during the regular season. That's probably the biggest game-changing change that's going to happen. That's actually going to affect who wins or loses. So that's something to watch out for. The overtime period will remain just 10 minutes, but now both teams have to possess the ball in overtime. And I know Josh Allen's yes, because all of the times that he never even got to touch the field in overtime versus the Chiefs. Also, the NFL owners have now officially approved proposals to expand the league's replay system, which is, of course, going to make the game go by slower, but hopefully the calls are more accurate. We'll see, even though sometimes they go to the replay and still come back with the wrong call, so we'll see how that goes. Also, of course, NFL owners have approved moving the touchback spot on kickoffs from the 30-yard line to the 35-yard line, which is going to promote more returns because teams that are kicking the ball are going to be like, man, I don't want to keep giving the opposing offense the ball at the 35-yard line just automatically without any difficulty. Just here's the 35-yard line starting field positioning. So now more teams are probably going to start kicking it to where it has to be returned by the opposing team, and then hopefully they can stop them before the 35-yard line. We'll see. Also, NFL is going to look a little robotic now because now the method for measuring first downs in the NFL will switch from the chain gangs to a camera-based technology in 2025. This is going to be the first year we've ever just had AI technology telling you when in the first down, where the first downs are, and things like that. That could have helped us against the Steelers. That would have been real nice back then, but it is what it is. But the traditional chain crew will still be there. They'll remain on the sideline as a secondary option, backup. But now it's going to be completely technology based. And just to let you know, it is a Sony Hawkeye technology that will be used next season to electronically measure first downs. I'm assuming there's probably something in the ball that helps with that. I don't know. We'll see. Also, shouts out to the Commanders because we had a proposed resolution related to K-balls and scouting credentials, and all of those were approved. So there was a thing where we wanted clubs to be able to prepare kicking footballs, K-balls, before the game, just like how quarterbacks have footballs that they practice with before the game. Now they want kickers to have the same thing as well, where they can prepare them so that they're really similar to the actual game balls, just like how quarterbacks do. Also, we wanted teams to be able to qualify for the postseason to obtain scouting credentials for 2 consecutive games, week 17 and 18, played by a potential postseason opponent. Also requires the clubs hosting wildcard games to provide scouting credentials to all teams within the same conference who are participating in the postseason. So the Commanders are trying to be active. That's the type of rule that you want changed because you're just assuming you're going to be involved in the playoffs quite a bit. So I thought that was interesting. Also, Detroit's proposal to eliminate an automatic first down as a penalty imposed on a defensive holding or an illegal contact did not pass. So that one was shut down. Everything else I've told you so far has been approved. It will happen. That one wasn't. And then speaking of proposals that weren't approved, now granted the tush push was tabled. It wasn't just outright denied like what the Detroit Lions just wanted, like I just told you, but it has been tabled. So the debate continues. We don't have a resolution. We don't have a yes nor a no. It's just sitting there right now. It's just floating in the air, I guess. So there were 16 teams that were in favor of banning the tush push, but that's 8 short of the amount needed for the proposal to pass. So now we'll wait. Shouts out to JB Finley too, because he brings up a good point. He said he wouldn't be shocked if the NFL just, if it doesn't ban the tush push, but instead instructs refs to call the neutral zone more accurately, and maybe the play will go away just from that, and just basically referee it in a way that the offensive line stops cheating, I guess, is the best way to put it. Now, moving on, the NFL also announced that they will play 7 international games this upcoming season. The league's Pete O'Reilly says those 7 have been announced. The NFL owners have been authorized by the league to play 9 international games per season now. 8 plus the one operated by the Jaguars in London. So now this is just only increasing your chances, especially as a Commanders fan, for us to potentially end up playing an international game as well. And of course, with all of the stardom, again, for the same reason that people may want to watch us for Hard Knocks, there's probably going to be a lot of people that want us to play an international game. I mean, if you're the NFL and you're looking at how much stardom is growing, and Jaden Daniels, his brand, his face, his personality, his play on the field, they're going to want to shop him everywhere. I'm telling y'all right now, we're not going to play a lot of 1 p.m. games. Expect a lot of 4 p.m.s, 8 p.m., Sunday nights, Thursday nights, Monday nights, game of the weeks, and international games as well. They're going to try to put Jaden Daniels in to be the face of the NFL everywhere that they can. Everywhere. Because, imagine if you're not interested in football, Jaden Daniels is the type of guy that can make you be like, maybe this football thing isn't that bad. So I expect an international game, even if it isn't in 2025, expect it by 2026 for sure. You see all of these great teams with their great quarterbacks are the teams that usually get picked for international games, unless it's like London. Sometimes they send like our 2 worst teams sometimes as like a strategy is like, well, they're going to watch it anyway. Is why send our best teams over there if it's going to be watched anyway. But they'll probably try to, to gain more of a global following. They'll never catch up to the NBA globally, but to try to do their best. I'm pretty sure Jaden Daniels is going to be a huge part of that. Also, speaking of Jaden Daniels, AFC coaches are apparently afraid of Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. Shouts out to Chick Hernandez because he tweeted with a video. AFC coaches spoke today at the NFL League meeting. This is back on March 31st, and those on the Commanders schedule in 2025 are well aware of what's coming. You had Pete Carroll, Andy Reid, Sean Payton, and Mike McDaniel, among many other coaches, talking about Jaden Daniels, Dan Quinn, and the Commanders, and how well we're just doing things over here, and like how bright our future is. And they are aware of the fact that, hey man, this is a team we need to take seriously for this upcoming season. So, hey man, watch out. Even AFC coaches are noticing what we're doing. Again, to the point of the hard knocks and the international games, people are excited about watching us, and people that have to go against us are a little afraid of what's to come. And then also, the Commanders won some really random big rights. I didn't even know this was in the works, but apparently the Commanders get the NFL Global Market Program rights to the UAE. So apparently they're trying to get that Dubai money. We were granted international marketing rights to the United Arab Emirates through the NFL's Global Markets Program. Today it was announced, well, this is like last week, that this marks the Commanders' first entry into the Global Markets Program, and the first year teams have been awarded rights in the UAE. The Washington Commanders are excited to join the NFL's Global Markets Program and become one of the first teams to expand our marketing and fan engagement efforts into the UAE, an increasingly influential financial, economic, and sports hub, said Josh Harris, managing partner of the Washington Commanders. This season, our fan base returned with passion, and we were reminded of the power of sports to galvanize and unite our community. Whether in the DMV or around the world, we always strive to create unforgettable experiences and memories for our fans, and look forward to being amongst the first to bring that passion and joy of the NFL football to the UAE. So speaking of international games, hey man, Dubai on the way. It probably won't be as soon as this season, but it's for sure on the way, especially since we won those rights. So that's big money right there. That's going to help us potentially get the money towards a new stadium. So if there's one reason to be happy about us winning those rights as a Commanders fan, is the fact that that money could go towards making sure our next stadium is very well built, whatever the area ends up being. If it's something like how we have the Battery in Atlanta, where it's like a whole mini city around the stadium, that would be nice as well. We'll see though. Things get weird and tricky when it comes to outsourcing the money and taking in investors from different. It gets weird, but hopefully it works out well. And then lastly, before we get up out of here, I just wanted to laugh at the Cowboys for trading for Joe Milton from the Patriots. I'm not exactly understanding that move, because Trey Lance looked better in Week 18 than Joe Milton ever looked in a game for the Patriots. And they had Trey Lance, and they decided, no, you can leave in free agency. We don't want you. And then they traded for Joe Milton. I understand Joe Milton has a rocket arm, but trust me, as an SEC guy, as a Georgia Bulldog fan, I tried to warn y'all about Anthony Richardson. Joe Milton is basically the same guy, maybe even more raw. I don't know what the Cowboys are doing, but again, I just want to take some time to make sure y'all know that the Cowboys did that and to laugh at them. They've done a lot of trades. I don't think y'all have noticed. The Cowboys didn't sign a lot of free agents, but they've done 4 or 5 trades this offseason, and Joe Milton is just another funny one right there. But hey, man, we'll take it. As a Commanders fan, I show no fear towards Joe Milton, and shouts out to them for wasting a draft pick on him, because I'm pretty sure whatever draft pick they gave up, they probably could have gotten a better player. I'm not trying to hate on Joe Milton. He has a rocket arm, but hey, man, as a Commanders fan, I'm telling you, I'm happy that they traded for him, and he'll just be, they could have just kept Trey Lance for all of that, but it is what it is. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know if you about everything discussed in the video. Please still follow that like button, still follow the subscription button, still follow the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinion video just like this one. Make sure you stay tuned to all of the content. I know I'm on vacation, but I'm still be trying to hit y'all with these videos on a daily basis, at least one a day. And then by the time I get back home, I can't wait because we are diving straight into film content to the point we're doing like 2-3 videos a day, live streams, all of that. And of course, I will be live streaming the entire draft, round 1s through 7, all of that type of stuff. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Really appreciate y'all. I'm going to catch y'all later. Leave a like on the way out. I'm out.